And now to our elections coverage and the races in Idaho's capital city, where the ballot looked a lot different this year. For the first time, voters in Boise did not vote for city council members at large, but rather by geographic district. Here's a look at the 6 districts in Boise and the areas they cover. This is a map from the city of Boise's website. The change to districts was mandated by a new state law that requires cities with more than 100,000 people to elect council members by geographic district. That decision not without controversy. Tonight, city council seats in districts 1, 3, and 5 are on the ballot. Our Joe Paris is at the Ada County's elections office to break down what he is seeing in those top races. Joe.
Well, Kim, they're hard at work here at the Ada County Elections Office after everyone went and voted today and also sent in those absentee ballots over the last few weeks. They are now processing them. Now, we saw a lot of the results actually come out at 9 o'clock, a lot of results still coming in. And speaking of the results, let's actually get to some of those right now. And some of the big races we're following in the city of Boise again, those city council seats of 1, 3, and 5. And we're going to throw those up on the screen for you right now. Let's start with District 1 here. You can see the results as we're heading into the evening now with Metzler, Willits, and Jones. That's District 1. If we go over, though, to the Boise City Council District 3, Lisa Sanchez leads the pack there at 64% over Greg McMillan. 2 other candidates there make up the rest of the 5%. And finally, Boise City Council District 5, Holly Woodings, the essential incumbent there, leads with the comfortable margin, 57%, 22%. Steve Madden over at 11%. And one thing I do want to draw attention to is we just showed you actually behind me through some glass, the poll workers working. And you say, well, we can't get a good view at them. How do we know what they're doing? It's actually interesting. The Ada County Elections Office, they have this great software and it's actually live streaming online. So anyone at any time can keep an eye on the process and they can really get an idea of what's going on behind the scenes. Now, the man in charge of the scenes here, Phil McGrane, the Ada County Clerk. And Phil, I know a big storyline across our country is the massive turnout in some places in this midterm election. I'm curious, here in Ada County, what are you seeing today?
You know, it's been interesting because these are local elections. We saw turnout basically what we expected was right in the mid-20s in terms of overall turnout across the county. But with the city council districts for the city of Boise, we saw increased turnout. That's where we saw some lines throughout the day. We'll definitely see well into the 30% turnout for some of these races that you were just talking about, which is great to see so many people participating and just show how unique these new districts are and how it's going to impact the elections.
Was the traffic, I guess, coming into the Ada County Elections Office today, was it heavier or slower than you expected with the new districts and the high-intensity city council elections?
You know, with some of these races, we saw more intensity. So there was a handful of precincts we were watching very closely just in terms of turnout to make sure there was enough ballots and everything was running smoothly. But across most of the county, it was what you would expect for a municipal election like this with the school trustees and some of the other city council races across the area.
That's Ada County Clerk Phil McGrane. As you can see here at the elections office, they are working hard in Ada County. For now, though, we'll send it back to the studio. I know we're going to be checking in across the valley and some other spots.
All right, Joe, thank you. And again, the news out of these city council district seats, it looks like Holly Woodings and Lisa Sanchez so far will be keeping their seats on city council. We'll continue to follow those results as they come in. Another big item on the ballot in Boise, the city's water renewal system and how to pay for upgrades. About a year ago, Boise City Council approved improvements to the city system that included upgrading aging pipes and water treatment facilities and building another facility to keep up with customer demand. The city said a no vote would reject financing for the bond, resulting in sharper upfront sewer rate increases. A yes vote would authorize bond funding and would result in smaller rate increases over 20 years. Right now, if we can take a look at the results live on your screen, overwhelmingly 86% of voters in Boise are saying yes to the Boise City Sewer District bond question. Morgan?
All right, Kim, a decision for voters in parts of Eagle, Boise, Star, Meridian, and Kuna renewing the West Ada School District supplemental levy. It's a $14 million replacement levy for the next 2 years. The levy's been in place since 2011 and voters have renewed it every 2 years. The money is used to help pay salaries and basic district operations. If approved, the district says the tax per $100,000 of home value is expected to slightly decrease from the last levy. If the levy doesn't pass, homeowners will not pay more than they are right now. A couple major races happening in Canyon County right now that'll shape the future of the area. Voters in both Caldwell and Nampa will decide on their next mayor. Let's start in Caldwell. This is a really big deal. There's going to be a changing of the guard. Longtime Mayor Garrett Nancolis announced he will not be seeking re-election. People in Caldwell haven't had a new mayor since the 90s. He's been mayor for 23 years. Here's a look at the candidates wanting to become the next mayor of Caldwell: Jorge Arancibia, Nicole Highland, John McGee, Chris Trakel, and Jerem Wagner. Looking at our live results page on KTVB.com, we can take a look here. Caldwell Mayor Wagner, 47%, John McGee next at 24%, Chris Trakel at 21%, Highland and Arancibia the next two. Now moving on to Nampa, Mayor Debbie Kling is running for re-election against Gerald Smith. This is Kling's first re-election bid. She was elected mayor of Nampa back in 2018. So as we look at the live results for the Nampa mayoral race right now, Debbie Kling, a big majority of the votes, 90%, with over 3,000 people reporting their votes. Gerald Smith just 10% right now. Only 2 out of 100 precincts are responding. We're going to be watching both the Caldwell and Nampa mayoral races very closely throughout the show, Kim.
All right, Morgan, thank you. Continuing our team coverage on this election night and moving to Canyon County, where there are a number of big races there tonight and some issues with the ballots. Our Katya Stepovic is at the Canyon County Elections Office, where she's talked to voters and election leaders about the night. Katya.
Well, that's right, Kim. Canyon County Elections Office, they're all busy at work still counting some of those ballots. But last we heard there was an overall 16% overall voter turnout, which doesn't sound like a lot up front. But as we're going to show you today, votes and lines were wrapping around the parking lots and even around the buildings. Now, there were 15 precincts in the entire county. 4 of them had lines out the door all day long, and people stayed up until the very end to cast their ballot in an important election to replace Garrett Nancolis, mayor of Caldwell, for 24 years.
Well, I vote for who I would like to see elected, and if that doesn't happen, then, well, I have to try it again next time. So I'm not sure how it's going to come out, but I always try to make sure that I'm at least voting so that my candidate had at least a shot at it.
No matter what, it's scary because we've had Nancolis for a long time, and he's fantastic. So I'm just hoping whoever makes it is fantastic like he has been. This is where it all starts. The community votes are where it starts. This is the race that matters. In order for the state races to matter, in order for the national races to matter, it starts here.
Now, there were some hiccups that didn't help with the long lines, according to Chris Yamamoto, Canyon County Clerk.
Hardware issues this morning at 3 locations, which slowed us down. We tried to get that rectified as soon as possible. As soon as we found out, we got people headed out to get replacement machines out there. So, and again, the people were very good about that. They were understanding, and so it worked out.
Now, the machines are called the controllers, which are the machines that give the voters an access code to access their correct ballot. 2 of those had issues and to speed up the process, they did some curbside voting, and the mishap potentially impacted 33 people, but so far they've only counted 5 ballots that were incorrect ballots. Now, because of the long lines and the mishaps that happened today, those results are going to come in a little bit later. They're still starting to trickle in, but they're expecting to have those initial results in by the end of 11 o'clock at the latest. And I want to mention too that the other reason we saw these long lines is because a lot of schools and churches that they usually do these polling locations at, those were not allowed this year. So that's also why we kind of saw that those crowds linger around a little bit.
All right, our Katya Stepovic reporting live for us in Canyon County. Katya, thank you. And we have more results to get to later on in this show from all across the region. If you want to follow along, check out our results page on KTVB.com and the KTVB app. We can send you a direct link to our online elections coverage. All you have to do is text the word VOTE to 208-321-5614. Doesn't get easier than that. We also have live results scrolling for you soon at the bottom of your screen. And we'll be right back with more of our election 2021 coverage. It will continue after this as we take a look at the West Ada School District supplemental levy. With only 1% of precincts reporting, so still very early on this issue, 94% are in favor of that levy. We'll be back right after this.